Kendrick Lamar enjoyed a modest victory lap on Friday at a packed Soldier Field, confidently walking around ramps and runways like a champion boxer showcasing his title belt. This somewhat understated display highlighted Lamar's more flamboyant side, though he is typically reserved and intensely focused. He delivered powerful performances with one impressive line after another, and his unique lyrical style nearly overshadowed any shortcomings of the 160-minute show. These flaws mainly stemmed from the decision to blend his performance with co-headliner SZA's into a continuous 9-act format, which created some jarring contrasts. Welcome to celebrity rap life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary. Because in celebrity rap life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. On his grand national tour, Lamar backed up his claims of being the greatest of all time, a point that is hard to dispute at this stage. He didn't rely on the usual flashy elements that accompany large concerts. While there were plenty of fireworks, flames, and dramatic visuals, he could have captivated the audience with just his microphone and a large video screen displaying conceptual imagery related to his songs. Lamar also incorporated his black 1987 Buick GNX Coupe as a recurring prop. The show featured a 16-member dance team, a dramatic descent down a staircase, and a choreographed moment where he walked on a long table while his crew sat on one side. These elements were about as theatrical as it got for him. He emphasized storytelling and showcased exceptional control over dynamics, syntax, tone, timing, tension, and pitch. Aside from a flashy X chain around his neck, he kept his wardrobe simple, wearing only 2 outfits. There were no hype men, special guests, or unnecessary self-promotion, and he refrained from overt showboating, relying instead on a collection of sharp songs and a seamless flow that complemented a world-class rhythm section. With this tour, Lamar joins Jay-Z and Eminem as one of the few hip-hop artists to co-headline stadium tours in North America. While all three partnered with an R&B artist, Lamar's outing, spanning 39 dates and heading to Europe in July, seems more ambitious in scope. He continues to break records, recently setting a new high for gross revenue, $14.8 million, for a single performance by a rapper in Seattle. It's already clear that the Grand National Tour will become the highest-grossing rap tour in history, adding to a series of achievements that place the 37-year-old alongside global icons like Beyoncé, Lady Gaga, and Taylor Swift. Since winning the Pulitzer Prize for Music in 2018 for his album Damn, Lamar has consistently excelled, with his 2022 album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, further solidifying his status. The album received widespread praise, marking Lamar's 4th consecutive #1 album and leading to an international tour that featured a headlining spot at Lollapalooza. However, this was just the beginning. In the spring of 2024, Lamar found himself in a public dispute with Drake, releasing 4 highly regarded diss tracks, with Not Like Us winning 5 Grammy Awards, launching the chart-topping GNX LP, and leading the most-watched Super Bowl halftime show ever. Given his success, it would have been understandable for Lamar to present his segment of the event as a celebration. Yet, moments of pure joy were rare, serving as part of a larger narrative filled with introspection, anger, reflection, comfort, struggle, fear, confusion, and spirituality. He even reinterpreted the uplifting Black Lives Matter anthem, All Right, transforming its clear optimism into something much more ambiguous, with a familiar refrain posed as a question lacking a definitive answer. His verses were filled with complications, critiques, and conflicts. At times, Lamar seemed to engage in a deep dialogue with himself and his past selves as he sought to address profound internal conflicts. In the piano-driven track, Reincarnated, he connected his previous lives to those of John Lee Hooker and Billie Holiday before focusing on his current self and its struggle for liberation from evil. As he moved into a performance of Baby Keem's Family Ties, the words respect and, or, flashed on the screen, alternating between money and power. Crouched on the hood of his car like a predator ready to pounce, he delivered the lyrics to Man at the Garden, as if trying to convince his harshest critic, himself, that he is worthy of the rewards of this life and the next. This is not a song / this is a revelation, he proclaimed on TV Off. He embodied this sentiment, whether he was taking down adversaries with fierce aggression, Euphoria, representing his hometown in a seemingly laid-back manner, Dodger Blue, or mixing slang, onomatopoeia, and pop culture references into a bass-heavy hit, Squabble Up. Lamar's lyrical confidence and rhythmic mastery pushed boundaries, treating phrases like shifting pieces of a puzzle. His voice, precise and clear with a touch of raspiness, cut through every mix. He switched tones like an analog radio dial, speeding up and then cruising as if driving a high-performance car. Lamar deftly maneuvered syllables, slicing and syncopating rhythms, breaking language into staggered patterns that danced, provoked, bounced, and struck. He made sure the rhythm hit hard at every opportunity. If only he had played a single continuous set and maintained a steady momentum. Lamar's choice to perform snippets of various songs missed the mark. Powerful tracks like King Kunta, Backseat Freestyle, and Swimming Pools, Drank, felt more like teases or afterthoughts. However, these were minor issues compared to the inconsistency in the sequences shared between Lamar and SZA. Both artists would have benefited from performing solo sets, collaborating only once in each segment. SZA was a great duet partner for the 6 songs they performed together, balancing Lamar's rougher edges with her smooth vocals on tracks like Love and the emotional ballad Luther. Her soulful voice also shone on her own songs. However, the similarities in their styles, combined with the stark contrast in their overall musical approaches, created a jarring effect that disrupted the flow. SZA also went overboard with production elements, pyrotechnics, and costume changes. While she had a few standout moments where she showcased her independence, such as in The Weeknd and her cover of Rihanna's Consideration, she often seemed overshadowed by the elaborate visuals and symbolism. Embracing garden themes, she interacted with dancers dressed as insects, rode a giant grasshopper, and for the acoustic song Nobody Gets Me, floated above the stage with wings that made her look like a fairy. The background visuals emphasized her fascination with bugs and grasslands, which cleverly complemented her revenge-themed song, Kill Bill. Unfortunately, many of the vocal and emotional nuances SZA displayed during a previous performance at the United Center were lost here. In an attempt to compensate, the 35-year-old St. Louis native leaned into a more exaggerated style, embracing big melodies and catchy choruses, resulting in a polished and dramatic sound on several tracks. Sequences shared between Lamar and SZA. Both artists would have benefited from performing solo sets, collaborating only once in each segment. SZA was a great duet partner for the 6 songs they performed together, balancing Lamar's rougher edges with her smooth vocals on tracks like Love and the emotional ballad Luther. Her soulful voice also shone on her own songs. With a guitarist beside her striking poses reminiscent of past hair metal bands, SZA performed from her knees, channeling 80s pop rock. In a different setting, this throwback style might have worked. However, on a tour where Lamar is like an undefeated champion, pushing hip-hop and lyrical boundaries, the disconnect between their performances is too pronounced. This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.